Welcome back to the channel. My name is Brad and today is Roundhill Roundup. What are my predictions for February 21st? And we'll take a look at how we did. If that's what you're interested in, stick around. So I've been doing this for a while and we're just going to jump right into it. We're not even going to hold anything back today. We are going to talk about Yieldmax, SDTY, and what my thoughts are now that we've seen a couple calls for a couple days. And let's get right into it. So in February 14th, that is Valentine's Day, I came up with pretty much exactly what they're going to pay you. You can take a look at it. You can think what you want, but obviously they are just paying you out the premiums of the calls from that week, and everything looks just fine. Now, I'm going to give a full caveat right now. My predictions for this week are going to be a little bit bigger in gap. I had a little thing come up last week, and I didn't capture the little detail on one day. I'm going to tell you what day it is because it is the secret sauce of why I am a little bit accurate on my predictions. But I didn't capture it because of life, but I gave a little gap, and you'll see that at the end. QDTE. Awesome week. Nothing went through the strike. They made profits on everything. They made 24 cents. You can see that the volatility was high on Monday. They wrote the strike farther out of the money, and everything looks very good. Volatility did come down through the week. You can see that they didn't sell any of poor man cover calls. XDTE, on the other hand, they rode out of the money and they got caught out on 3 different days: Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. That is just what happens. Nothing went through the strike very far. Matter of fact, Monday was still a profitable day, even though it went through the strike. But you can see what they made, profit, loss, how far away from the index they actually became, and they're going to pay you about 21 cents. That looks pretty good. And also, you can see the volatility on the VIX came down as the week went through. One clear thing is when the VIX is around 15, they actually do pretty darn good. So it's when the VIX gets a little bit higher, they make a little bit more money. But it looks like they don't write them out far enough when the VIX is a little bit higher. RDTE, well, we see again that they sold some of those poor man cover calls. That's the first thing that jumps out at Brad. Next thing that jumps out at Brad is on Tuesday. They wrote it out of the money, but they got called out and they went through the strike. And that was big enough to be more than what they made for the rest of the week. But again, they pay you every premium that they make in their calls. So you're still going to get that 17 cents. That's just how it is. So my prediction for February 21st, you're going to get about 21 cents for XDTE, 24 cents for QDTE, and 17 cents for RDTE. Now, one thing that you'll notice is that I put a bigger gap. So I could be off by a full penny, maybe a little bit more than a penny on that. So it might be 22, 26, and 18, but it's pretty darn close to what they're going to be paying you. That is my prediction for February 21st. Out on Roundhill's website, they have some more information for us. So I'm going to bring this up and walk through the charts. They give you 12 months distribution on a graph. And you can look at that graph and say, I would say they average something above 25 cents on average. That'd just be my guess for QDTE. That's a pretty nice looking chart, but you can see when the volatility is higher, they pay a little more premiums. If I look at the XDTE chart, again, it's not quite 25 cents, but it's probably averaging about 25 cents. And you can see how those premiums have paid out over the time. RDTE has less history, but you can see that they're well above the 20 cents on a weekly basis as an average. Now, one thing I've been doing, I've been looking at SDTY from Yieldmax. My personal opinion, this is just my personal opinion. It's nothing to write home about. There is nothing exciting about SDTY. Their calls have been very similar to XDTE, very similar to T-SPY, they are managing the calls. So they've been closing out early, writing new calls. So they're doing very similar tactics as T-SPY, maybe a little more aggressive than T-SPY, but nothing more to write home about and say, hey, this is the best fund ever. Not really. I don't see the attraction to SDTY, especially if you have XDTE. Now, I will continue to beat my drum and say I hold no synthetics. I hold the underlying, and I do that for a reason, and everybody can hate me or love me for it, but I really don't care. I am holding the underlying assets, except maybe BTCI that does a synthetic, but 25% of that is actually holding Bitcoin. That is just my opinion for the week. You have your predictions. So until next time, God bless.